Saxon, oh, excuse me, Saxon Algebra 1/2, Lesson 77. Greetings, Caleb. We are talking in this lesson about our percent problems, like this, where we're dividing up a group by a certain percentage and finding the special group. And today we're going to talk about situations where the percent is greater than 100. Let's start with the second example first, because I think that it makes a little bit more sense, and then we'll go backwards and do the first example later. Jane is mad today. She's mad because today crullers cost 120% of what they did 2 years ago. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there and try to figure out what the heck he's talking about. So crullers have gone up in price. A cruller is a kind of donut. I don't know if you know that. You probably do. But here's what they cost before, and look, they got bigger. They baby Jesus on us. They got bigger. Before they were 100%, whatever it was, and she said that they now cost 120% of what they did before. So they've gone up in price. What does a cruller that was 60 cents 2 years ago cost today? So it used to be 60 cents. I'm going to leave that in cents because then I don't have decimals. I could write it as 0.6 if I wanted to write it as a dollar, but I'm going to leave it in pennies, and then we'll fix our answer if need be. Okay, and so we're trying to figure out what does a cruller cost that 2 years ago. This is 2 years ago, by the way. And this is now. Okay, so we're supposed to find out that. What does it cost now? Okay, so here's our formula. Our percent is greater than 100, so now we understand, okay, this is what the problem's talking about. By the way, all of these will be baby Jesus style problems. So we can use this tried and true formula to set it up. Our percent is 120 over 100 times of, that's the original, 60 over 1 equals x, and I'll put the x over 1 just in case I need it. So that's how I set it up. I have the percent is number. Okay, and this is kind of fun because look, we can divide those two by 10, and we can divide those two by 10, and now all my numbers have gone away on the bottom, and I can get x equals 72 because 6 times 12 is 72, and so x equals 72 cents, and I can write that in here just to make my diagrams complete. Okay, that's all there is to it. This is our answer, and this is our diagram. If you look in the book, you will see that John is drawing his pictures with squares instead of circles. He's going to switch levels of the map. So this is where you're headed. So this is where I'm going to take you now. I think the circles are way more logical because you can see the growth better than the squares. So stick with me, and later you'll be like, oh, I'm so glad I learned squares and or circles instead of squares. All right. So let's go back into the first one now. This one doesn't have a story attached. Here, I'm going to flip pages. This one doesn't have a story attached, so we get to make up our own story. So this is example 77.1. It's harder to do these problems when you don't have a story because there's no context for putting things together. John just tells us 210% of 50 is what number? Okay, so we have our formula, P over 100 times of equals is. I'm going to draw the picture right away, and then we'll calculate whatever we need to calculate. 210%, so that's the percent there. This is 100. It always starts as 100. Of 50, so 50 is the starting number, is what number? So we'll use John's wacky little WN variable now. An X it works just fine, or whatever letter you want. You can use a C for Caleb if you want. So now we set it up using this. 210 over 100 times 50 over 1 equals what number. I'm not going to bother putting that over 1 because I can see all my numbers are over here. 50 goes into 100 twice. And then 210, that would break down to 105. I would ask you, but you're not here. So that tells us that this number is 105. Right? What percent of 40 is 60? What percent of 40 is 60? Okay, this is one of those cheater examples where there's 3 separate things. What percent of 40 is 60? We use this. What percent over 100 of 40 times 40 over 1 is 60 over 1. So the first time the variable was here in the is place. This time the variable is here in the percent place. So what do? Let's see, we need him to be by himself. We need this to go away, so I'm going to multiply that by the reciprocal. I could reduce first if I wanted, but I'm not going to. And then I have to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. This all cancels. Let's see. I'll take the zeros out. I'm going to leave that 100 because I know that 4 goes into 100 25 times. So this changes to 25. And I just have to do 25 times 6, which I can think of as quarters, right? 4 quarters make $1, and then 2 more make 50 cents. So what percentage equals 150? Okay, John did not ask me to draw the picture in this, but I'm going to. 40 is my starting number, 60 is my ending number. Sometimes the arrows help. So my percent got bigger. We went from 40 to 60. This is 100%. And you and I just calculated that this is 150%. All right? So there's our answer. I would like you to draw the pictures for these. John does not ask that of you, but the pictures just help it all make sense, and I want you to get lots of practice doing that. Okay, so we did A, we did B, and now we did C, and what do you want to bet? Let's see, the first time this was the variable, the second time this was the variable. What do you want to bet this time? The total, the of number is going to be the part that we have to solve for. Okay, so here we are, C. 150% of what number is 300? Okay, well I called that, didn't I? You knew it too. Okay, so we start like this. Baby Jesus grows. This is always 100%. This, we said 150%. Of what number? So we don't know this, but this number is 300. Okay, see how I plopped all that down? Of number always goes in this box. Is number goes in the second one. Well, they're not boxes, but you know what I mean. You have to be smarter than my mouth. I say things that aren't right, and I just trust you to interpret. That is a burden that I've placed on you. Sorry. Here's our formula. Once again, I'll puffy cloud it this time. Make sure you have that little pup memorized, and if you don't already have it firmly etched in your brain, write it on the inside, front, or back cover of your notebook right now. Okay, but we're going to use this and this information to solve for the missing piece. Our percentage is 150, always over 100, times this number, the of number, well, we don't know what that is. I'll put it over 1, equals 300. And I'll put that over 1 because we have to flop some things around. All right, this is going to be straightforward. Here's our variable. Here's what's being multiplied by it. We use the reciprocal to make the fraction go away. 100 over 150. Okay, this all goes. Now we do some canceling here. I bet if you were here, 50 goes into 300 twice. 1, 2. And now we're ready to multiply because our denominators are both 1. And we get what number equals 200. That's the correct answer. And we can put it into our diagram right there. Okay? So there's our completed diagram, there's our answer. Those are the two problems for this lesson, lesson 77. And I think I've told you all you need to know to successfully complete this homework. I'll see you in lesson 78.